footsteps outside his room. He peeked out of his eyes to see what was happening when his door swung open to reveal a murderer carrying the corpses of his parents. After silently propping them up on a chair, he wrote something on the wall in the blood of the dead bodies. He then hid under the child's bed. The child got scared beyond belief. He couldn't read the writing on the wall, and he knew the man was under his bed. Like any child, he pretended that he slept through the whole thing and hadn't woken up yet. He lay as still as the bodies, quietly hearing the breaths from under his bed. An hour passed, and his eyes got adjusted to the darkness. He tried making out the words, but it was a struggle. He gasped when he finally read the sentence. "I know you're awake," he read, as he felt something shift underneath his bed. A little girl opened the door to her parents' bedroom in the middle of the night. "Daddy, I had a bad dream," she said. Her father blinked his eyes and sat up in bed, leaning on his elbows. The digital alarm clock glowed red in the darkness. It was 3:33 a.m. "Do you want to climb into bed and tell me about it?" he asked. "No, Daddy," came the reply. The oddness of the situation made him wake up more fully. He could barely make out his daughter's pale form, outlined in the light from the doorway. "Why not, sweetie?" he asked. The little girl began to cry. "Because in my dream, when I told you about the dream, the thing wearing Mommy's skin sat up," she whined. For a moment, he felt paralyzed, unable to take his eyes off his daughter. Then he felt the covers behind him slowly begin to shift. It was 1 a.m., and Guy Halverson sat in his dark living room. He hadn't moved for over an hour. The accident earlier that evening kept playing over and over in his mind. The light turned red, but he was in a hurry and accelerated. An orange blur came from his right, and in a split second there was a violent jolt. Then the bicyclist rolled across his hood and fell out of sight on the pavement. Horns blared angrily, and he panicked, stepping on the gas and screeching away from the chaos into the darkness, shaken and keeping an eye on his rearview mirror until he got home. "Why did you run, you idiot?" He'd never committed a crime before this, and punished himself by imagining years in jail. His career gone, his family gone, his future gone. Why not just go to the police right now? You can afford a lawyer. Then someone tapped on his front door, and his world suddenly crumbled away beneath him. They found me. There was nothing he could do but answer it. Running would only make matters worse. His body trembling, he got up, went to the door and opened it. A police officer stood under the porch light. "Mr. Halverson?" asked the grim officer. He let out a defeated sigh. "Yes, let me. I'm terribly sorry. I'm afraid I have some bad news. Your son's bike was struck by a hit-and-run driver this evening. He died at the scene. I'm very sorry for your loss." "Mommy told me never to go into the basement, but I wanted to see what was making that noise. It kind of sounded like a puppy, and I wanted to see the puppy. So I opened the basement door and tippy-toed down a bit. I didn't see a puppy. And then Mommy yanked me out of the basement and yelled at me. Mommy had never yelled at me before, and it made me sad, and I cried. Then Mommy told me never to go into the basement again, and she gave me a cookie. That made me feel better, so I didn't ask her why the boy in the basement was making noises like a puppy, or why he had no hands or feet. I began tucking him into bed, and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath for his amusement and see him, another him, under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed." One night a woman went out for drinks with her girlfriends. She left the bar fairly late at night, got in her car, and onto the deserted highway. After a few minutes, she noticed a lone pair of headlights in her rearview mirror, approaching at a pace just slightly quicker than hers. As the car pulled up behind her, she glanced and saw the turn signal on. The car was going to pass. Then suddenly, it swerved back behind her, pulled up dangerously close to her tailgate, and the brights flashed. Now she was getting nervous. The lights dimmed for a moment, and then the brights came back on, and the car behind her surged forward. The frightened woman struggled to keep her eyes on the road and fought the urge to look at the car behind her. Finally, her exit approached, but the car continued to follow, flashing the brights periodically. Through every stoplight and turn, it followed her until she pulled into her driveway. She figured her only hope was to make a man dash into the house and call the police. As she flew from the car, so did the driver of the car behind her, and he screamed, "Lock the door and call the police. Call 911. When the police arrived, the horrible truth was finally revealed. The man in the car had been trying to save her. As he pulled up behind her and his headlights illuminated her car, he saw the silhouette of a man with a butcher knife rising up from the back seat to stab her. So he flashed his brights, and the figure crouched back down. A girl named Isabella was babysitting for her cousins for the night. She had just tucked them in and was heading downstairs to watch some TV. She made herself a coffee and walked into the lounge. She took down a cup of coffee before flicking on the TV. 14 minutes later, she saw a man at the sliding glass door waiting behind the television. She thought it was a prank the kids were playing on her. She got up and opened the sliding door. Nothing was there. 15 minutes passed, the man was still waving. Isabella was scared now. She grabbed the wireless phone beside her and called the police. Apparently the police were close, so they said they would be there soon. When the police came, they saw Isabella was terrified, staring lifelessly at the cops. They looked around and opened the sliding glass door. Nothing was there. The cops looked at the television as they said to Isabella, "Things like that don't help matters either." Isabella was watching a horror movie by the name of Dawn of the Scarecrows. The cops started walking towards the door, and one turned around. He saw wet footprints walking behind the couch. Isabella hadn't seen anyone outside. It was the reflection of someone behind her.